Welcome to the Dream, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Amashi, and we're back for more Baldur's Gate 3, Patch 4, Druid gameplay. Ugh, okay. So, first thing I want to critique... Well, not really, but it's a setup for something I want to critique later. So let's go to sleep. Let's go to camp.
This seems as good a place as any to make camp.
Once again, I don't like how the character animates, doesn't take into account the character I'm trying to roleplay. As well as, Larian, don't put words into the custom character's mouth. Just don't. It's a real problem. Alright, so let's rest.
This is not the world you know. Rest feels impossible, no matter how heavy your eyes become. Every time they flicker shut, the tadpole seems to twitch behind them. Dragons, Gith, and the hells themselves have come after you. Yet it is this creature that lingers in your skull.
So we have a couple dialogue options here. You can focus on finding a cure, for that is all that matters. You have to learn to control the tadpole. It's dangerous, but powerful. And the wisdom. The tadpole influences you, perhaps you might influence it in return. Now, normally I pick two, but since this character's spec for wisdom, I might as well do the wisdom response.
You focus on that spot of pain from when it slipped behind your eye to where it now lurks. You cannot prod it, but you can make it clear that you are watching. What is there to fear when it is the one stuck inside you? It is a minor victory, but enough to soothe you to sleep.
There should be more of these. There should be a lot more of these. And I've given this in my feedback in the past, but these scenes are really good. They help flesh out the custom character. And you could even use these to flesh out their origin. Now, we're going to reload, and I'm going to pause the recording until we get back. Alright, I'm back. So, I have a pretty good computer, and I wanted to show something off. I've just recently validated game files. It said that there were 5 files that were, that weren't correct. I can't remember what it said. So I re-downloaded those. It was 15 gigabytes, by the way. And I just wanted to show off how long it takes to load into the game. Because I've been editing out these loading screens in between my saves and loads. A lot of optimization work needs to be done. Now, I am using Vulkan. However, if I was using DirectX 11, these load times would be the same. In fact, everything for, at least on my system, is running better on Vulkan. Yeah, that loading screen is still going. It is still going. It is still taking a really long time. Edge panning does not work, that is a lie. Well, that's not really a lie, because edge panning speed works. It just, the way edge panning works in this game is broken. Which, it weirds me out that it's broken in Baldur's Gate 3, because it worked perfectly fine in DOS 2. Alright, we're finally back in the game. Let's go talk to Shadowheart. I really like the ash particles as you travel this area. It looks really nice. I do think that they should change the sand here. Even though this is not actually a beach, it's a riverside. Should probably change the texture of the sand, just so people stop trying to compare this to Fort Joy. It is not Fort Joy. This is not a sea beach. This is a riverside. What I would actually like, instead of sand, I would have this all be ash. Really like the new effects and sound effects for these telepathic scenes.
Of gratitude.
Ah! Did you feel that? You've got the same thing I do. In your head.
I remember you. You survived those monsters' pods, then?
Yes.
I doubt this is the only entrance. You could look elsewhere. Looks like you need a hand. What you're making is a racket. That noise is bound to attract attention. So, in the previous section, what would be nice is I could try to lockpick the door, because lockpicking isn't just a rogue exclusive thing. Druid could say, I have magic, maybe I can try. Like, there's more dialogue options that should be there that aren't there. Do you know if anyone else survived the crash? There were a lot of people in those pods.
No, unless you count these monsters. You're the friendliest face so far.
From what I can see, it looks like you can handle yourself just fine.
For now. But I'd rather get out of here than keep testing my mettle against these things.
Alliances have been made on less. I could use your help.
Or just company for our final moments. But you're right. Whatever lies ahead will be a little less daunting with support. You can call me Shadowheart.
Alright, so time to critique some stuff once more. Half-elf dialogue option here doesn't make sense because I'm a half-drow. So, weird dialogue option for this character to have. I considered playing a drow because there's some drow stuff I want to talk about as well. And I guess I can make it here, since we're not going to be doing a drow for this run, a full-blooded drow for this run. A lot of the drow options should just be things that you can say regardless of what race you are. Like, a lot of the drow options are just threats or intimidation or just being a snide jackass. It doesn't have anything to do with being a drow. A lot of those drow options don't have anything to do with you being a drow. Anyone could have said those things. So, I think the tag system and the dialogue options really do need another pass and another look at it. It's like, hey, is this a thing that this race specifically would say? Anyone could have said that thing. Just like the warlock, not just the warlock, the magic casting and the class options. Like, anyone could have suggested picking the lock, not just a rogue. But let's pick 5 just to show it off.
Don't mistake blood for kinship.
Like, maybe a half-drow option was like, do you have a problem with my drow heritage? That would be nice instead of the half-elf option. How did you end up on the ship in the first place?
That is none of your business. I suggest we concentrate on surviving.
I would probably say there should be another option here. Be like, if we were going to be traveling together, it is my business. And you could probably get a minus approval, or you could say another option that's fine. That's fine. I guess you'll tell me when I need to know. I'm Hakai. We better get moving.
Lead the way.
Alright, we'll talk to Shadowheart and the other companions later. For the moment, I'm just gonna try and, hang on. Keep forgetting what the item for that is. Okay, there we go. I'm going to have a short bow. Shadowheart will have this crossbow. There we go. Save again. Have them both sneak. Please don't walk into the fire again. Now we're going to dip our bow into this fire. Because in a previous run, I tried doing this fight as a druid straight up. Couldn't do it. Part of it having to do with the fact that Produce Flame is not using the correct stat.
Better stay back. One strike could be lethal.
Well, that's not at all what I meant to do. I thought it would last a bit longer than that. Alright, Shadowheart. Dip your crossbow into the fire, please. Or rather, your arrows. Too close? That's fine. Critical miss? Oh my god, Shadowheart, why? Well, that's gonna be a problem. And hopefully kill with this.
You tried well. Perhaps our survival isn't such a distant prospect.
Excellent. Hey, it's time for my favorite character.
That's unexpected. Last I saw you, you were lying in a crucible's worth of blood. An intellect devourer nibbling at your ear. Glad to see my eyes deceive me. I'm Gale. Well met. Ooh, easy. Easy does it, lad. You really, really don't want to do that. Not a threat, just an observation. Besides, we just survived a stint through hell on a nautiloid. Statistically speaking, we're anomalies on par with a convivial aboleth.
And why would I really not want to attack? Wait. Why would I really not want attack you? Typo. But let's say it.
We'll get to that. I have a much more pressing question first. Are you perchance a wizard? To be more precise, an arch-wizard?
There should be a dialogue option here that says, no, I'm a druid, if that helps. Let's go with, why do you ask?
Because I need one, but it'll have to wait. The primary need now is a healer. I take it you recall the insertion of the parasite?
I recall it, yes, vividly.
Are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it'll turn us into Mind Flayers? A process known as ceremorphosis? It is to be avoided. I assume you're no accomplished healer either. Powerful cleric, maybe?
So, we have a druid option here. I can tend to basic wounds and ailments, but I can't remove alien parasites. So you say, can't say that I am. Why can't you just use magic? Look, is this interrogation or is a conversation or interrogation? We're gonna go with the druid.
I gathered as much. We'll have to look for a solution elsewhere. You and I are in a whole lot of trouble. We need help, and I'm not sure where we'll find it in this wilderness. How about we embark on the quest for a healer together?
So there should be an option here to be like, let me mark the location of my camp on your map and meet us there. That option should be here. The option to be like, there should be more dialogue options here. I'm going to be saying that a lot. But there's more that you can do with this. But we're going to pick one. Gale's my favorite character.
Most excellent. Then, without further ado, let's be off. Besides, looks like you keep some interesting company. A woman with shadows for eyes, deep as the dark lake. Pleasure, madam.
Is it indeed? We'll see.
Alright, so we've got one more companion we were going to pick up before we rest. And that will bring us to the final thing I want to critique for this part. Oh, it is raining really hard outside my window. I hope that's not picking up on the mic. It shouldn't. That's what the vast amount of microphone settings that I dabbled with in the previous part were supposed to prevent. Things of that nature, along with my breathing, because it probably isn't that big of a deal, because I noticed that I watch I watch and listen to Castle Super Beast quite a lot, and I noticed that Wooly's breathing comes into the mic quite often, and it didn't bother me until I started actively looking for it to be like, is this a thing other content creators have to deal with?
Open the bloody
Oh,
gate!
God,
Nobody gets in!
Christ's sake.
Zevlor's orders! That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
I don't want to do this right now. We'll come back to it. Alright, we're back. I reloaded to, right after we got Gale, and I fast traveled to... As soon as I remember which icon is fast traveled, there it is. To the Overgrown Ruins, and I just walked forward to get to Astarian. Walked forward from the intellect devourer fight, rather.
Hurry. I've got
Mid dialogue saves still aren't working, which is a shame.
There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
So we have easily, stand back, kill it yourself. You look capable enough, leave. So I'm going to go with easily stand back.
There. Can you see it?
Now, see, this right here, this is what should be happening in Avernus. When the dragon knocks you over, there should be a check there, like this scene has. By the way, I love this scene.
I saw you on the ship, didn't I? Not?
So what I'd like here is if there was a... If you have the produce flame cantrip, there should be a produce flame option here, like there is a warlock option to burn him. Let's melee attack him. And I'm also going to say that this is a better version of the Sibyl scene in DOS 2. Because you didn't really have a chance to fight back against Sibyl like you do here. So we're probably going to fail this roll, but I'll try it. So this scene's great. The one complaint you could make about it is that your party just sits around, not involved, while this goes on. Maybe an option that would be like, hey Gale, Shadowheart, you want to do... You could have like, Gale, help me out, or Shadowheart, help me out. As dialogue options throughout there. Shadowheart would be like, do it yourself. Or Lysel would be also, do it yourself. Will would help immediately, and Gale would also likely help immediately. And then you can go from the scene from there. And that's probably how I would change this scene. Is if you have party members, you can ask them for help. And depending on which character you ask, they may or may not help. Okay, so here's another thing I want to talk about. Tell him your name and your story is a problem of the custom character. We should have more here. We should have more options. There should be things in character creation where like, we should be creating our story with the DM, which in this case is the game. Have options in character creation that help us detail our origins so that we actually know in lore what we are telling these people, as well as how they would respond to that. There's a lot you could do here. So we'll go with I'll just introduce myself. I am Hakai.
A pleasure. So, do you know anything about these worms?
I will go with 1. Yes, unfortunately. We'll turn us into Mind Flayers. You could probably have a couple of extra dialect options here that are more joke answers. But, we'll go with 1.
Turn us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
So here's another issue I have with the dialogue options. There's 1, control it, we need to get rid of it. 2, you should travel with me, our odds are better together. 3, I need to get moving, but you can shelter at my camp. 4, I waste enough time here, farewell. Worst 5, I agree. You remember earlier when we were resting alone that the option to be like, I need to figure out a way to harness this thing's power, which was dialogue option number 2, was an option I could have picked. Where's my option here to say, yeah, I agree with you, Astarian. We absolutely should be trying to gain control of this, over these tadpoles and harness their power. Or another option of, I was planning on doing the same, actually. Alright, now that we have a full party, let's rest for the night. Go to camp and end the day.
Go to hell.
Good evening to you too. Was there anything particular I did to deserve such a reading? Or watch your damn mouth. So another option that could be here is, do you want to rephrase that? Or reach for my weapon. I would also have reach for your weapon as an option here. But we're going to go with 1. And good evening to you too.
Ha! You're a good sport. Go to hell. An everyday expression. So trivial it's almost meaningless. But we've seen hell. It's real. And it isn't trivial.
So I'm going to go with 3. I like all these dialogue options here. These are all fine. I'm not quite sure what you could add to this. These are all fine. We'll go with 3. You sound a tad more dejected than when we first met.
Merely contemplating. Devils, dragons, mind flayers. They used to be abstracts. Pictures on a piece of paper. What a difference a day makes. Now we have tadpoles slithering through our heads like carnivorous feti. That's not abstract.
We have 1. I'm not too worried. We'll find someone who can help us. Perhaps you should get some rest. Brooding will get us nowhere. Action will. What can I say that you're right? We're in deep you-know-what. I'd also have 5. What can I say but you're right? We're in deep shit. I like that there should be the option to just say the swear. I like 4. I like that 4 is there, but you should also have the option to just say it. I'm thinking 3 will be what I go with. Brooding will get us nowhere. Action will.
This ballet of flames invites reflection. But you're right. Let's be up with the lark. Find a healer before the wee one gets hungry.
Right. We could go to Shadowheart next. Also, I love the camp theme. I want to live. I can't remember the name of the song. I believe it's I Want to Live. I love you, Bobby. Your music is always fantastic. This song is excellent. I'd say there should be a option 5. I agree, but what choice do we have?
There are lit fuses in our heads. Sooner or later, they're going to blow. Each hour that passes, the thing inside us grows. We need to find a healer. Let's wake up at first light.
Again, there should be another option of just being up front. I have no interest in healing the tadpole. I want to control it. I want to make its power my own. That should be an option here. In fact, pretty much any time that the tadpole is brought up in conversation, that should be an option. That should be a dialogue response or something along those lines should be there, as always. I'm going to go with 3. This is unfamiliar territory. Rushing will only land us in more trouble than we can handle.
That sort of danger I'm fine with. I can fight it. Rest well. We'll need our strength.
Alright, so let's talk to Astarian.
Shadowheart seems jumpy. Must not relish the thought of sprouting tentacles.
I've actually never heard this conversation before.
Can't say I'm a fan either. It's just hard to join in when all of this feels so new. The night normally means bustling streets.
I have heard this line before.
Curling up in the dirt and resting is, a little novel.
I like all three of these options. I feel like this could be said by anyone, though. It doesn't have to be just, oh, this is just the thing the Druid says. You could have, this option should be for everyone, and the Druid option should be, being what I am, this is all just natural. Being amongst the wilderness is just natural for me. That should be what the Druid option should be. 3 should be for everyone, but we'll pick the Druid option.
No, tea isn't really my drink. I'll be awake a while anyway. I need some time to think things through, to process this. You sleep. I'll keep watch.
Alright, so we've got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna try and squeeze this all into one video. Let's start with Gale.
What's on your mind?
Tell me about yourself.
Let's see. I hail from Waterdeep, the city of splendors. I'm a wizard of considerable and scholar of exceptional accomplishment. I have a cat, a library, and a weakness for a good glass of wine. And if the mood takes me, I'm known to try my hand at poetry. There.
So, I'm gonna pick Go On. So there's Go On, you're trying to brush me off, don't you have anything other than generalities to offer me, and 3, change the subject. Let's pick 2. I have a lot to say and critique about this.
Certainly. That I have a great respect for privacy, for instance, especially my own.
Here's something that's really, really bad. 1, try peering into his mind. If he won't open up, you'll sneak it out. You'll sneak in. And 2, change the subject. This is bad. Because if you just have one option that's a skill check, the player is going to pick it. They're going to. And if you do this, you're going to get disapproval with Gale. There should be other options of, hey, you'll tell me when you're... That's fine, you'll tell me when you're ready. Or, no, this conversation isn't over. You're going to tell me something that's, you're going to tell me something. Like, there should be other dialogue options here, along the line of varying options of gray. It'd be like friendly or neutral. It'd be like, you'll tell me when you're ready, or you will tell me now. Another thing is, after you ask that question, there should be more options of like, tell me about Waterdeep. Tell me of these so-called scholarly pursuits. Tell me about your cat. Tell me about your library. Do you know any good wine? Do you have any wine recommendations? Do you mind reciting one of your poems to me? There are things like there's so many opportunities here to get to know Gale, and the game is not giving me the options to inquire about them. There's a lot to unpack here, and the game doesn't let you unpack it. So hopefully that gets touched up in a later patch. Gale is a character that I love dearly, and Gale is a character the game doesn't let you talk to very much.
Yes?
Let's get to know Astarian. Tell me about yourself.
Oh, what's to tell? I'm a magistrate back in the city. It's all rather tedious.
Or is my option to be like, tell me about your duties as a magistrate. What is it like? Tell me about your experiences with Baldur's Gate. Give us a chance to get to know the city through Astarian. What's your priority right now?
Clearly the tadpole. If we can't understand it, we'll never control it.
Again, there's more here that we could be talking about, and the game's just not giving me the opportunity to. Shadowheart, on the other hand, hoo boy, it feels like she has the furthest along in her development, because there's a lot we can talk to. There's a lot we can talk to Shadowheart about right out of the gate. We should get to know each other a little more.
So that's to say you'd like to pry a little. You do seem like the type, I must say.
Yes, I'm the type to pry. Are you the type to answer? Now, before I pick that, I do like most of these options. It was just a thought, no need to take offense. 2, the type, what do you mean? before I change my mind. We can get to know each other another time. So we'll pick 3.
My, look at you. Straight as an arrow and right to the point every time. This isn't the tadpole I'm speaking to, is it? The personality seems a little lacking.
So I'd say 3. You could just spare me your jests. Or do you really have to be this confrontational? I just want to get to know you guys. But we're gonna pick 2. You got me. I am the mighty tadpole. This body is my vessel.
And that's the vessel you chose.
And I think picking this option should give you approval with
Good to know you're not
Shadowheart, but it
entirely
doesn't.
without a sense
It
of humor.
should.
Shall we?
There's, you're deflecting, I want to know about you. And they'd be like, another option could be, alright, you don't want to answer me. We'll talk about this later. Or, I guess you'll open up when you feel like it. I give up. That's enough for now. What do you think that's happened to us so far?
We haven't gone all that far yet. What are you referring to exactly?
You must have thoughts about our little stowaways.
Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. We've no solid leads right now, though. We'd best get hunting.
What will you do if we actually manage to remove the tadpoles?
We go our separate ways, of course. What else? The ties that bind would be well and truly severed.
So I'd be like, there should be more dialogue options here. Once again, if there's only 2 dialogue options, assume there are too few. Or 3. Though there have been a couple instances where 3 dialogue options is actually enough to get across enough of a range of emotions. So for this instance, it'd be like, I'm trying to think of some good dialogue options that could be here. Let's go with 1. Where would you go? But there could be other options of, hey, I was hoping we could get to know each other. Or something like that. It could be 2. You seem to be eager to get rid of me.
We were brought together by circumstance. Besides, I have my own people in Baldur's Gate. And before you ask, no. I'm not telling you what I'm doing there, or who I'm meeting, or anything else.
So again, there's only one dialogue option here. If there's only one dialogue option here, the player is going to assume this is the only way to progress the conversation forward to get more story. Don't do this. There should be, like, the option of peer into her thoughts, or, again, you'll tell me when you're ready, I suppose. Like, things of that nature need to be there, of various friendly or confrontational sort of tone. There needs to be more here, and they need to have varying tones. It's subject. So how do you think we should proceed?
Find a healer, and the sooner the better. I have other matters to attend to beyond this affliction.
And one of the options in the previous dialogue chain should have been peer into her thoughts with a tadpole. Obviously, that would give you... Obviously, that option would lose approval, but it should be there. It just... The option to look into your companion's thoughts with a tadpole should be there. It's just like... Much like how I criticized the Gale scene, it shouldn't be the only thing there that you can do to progress the conversation. How am I holding up in your estimation?
If nothing else, you can at least soak up any arrows that are loosed at us.
Yeah, that is because I lost approval with her earlier. Alright, I believe I've talked to everyone thoroughly.
How can I help?
For the moment. Oh wait, let's rest. And now the final thing I want to critique in this video. Remember how I said I talked about that scene where we were lying alone? You don't get that scene if you have a full party. That, you know, that thing that added a decent amount to the custom character and gave us some insight into their thoughts, as well as getting us closer to what they're feeling? That's not there if you have a party, and it should be. There should be more of those scenes, and they shouldn't be missable. You should be able to there should be a lot more of those scenes that give it for pretty much any important narrative beat. so we can form how our character feels about things, as well as fleshing out their backstory. And they shouldn't be so easily missable by just deciding to rest with the party. In fact, those scenes that I just had with Gale, Astarian, and Shadowheart are also missable. If you don't rest, like, if I didn't rest as soon as I got Shadowheart, I mean, as soon as I had gotten these 3 characters, those scenes would be gone. It is so easy to miss so much insight into these characters, and it makes the experience weaker there. But that's enough for this part. Join me next time for when we recruit maybe 2 more companions, as well as critiquing more of the dialogue options and the story. If you enjoyed the content of this video, please like the video, comment down below, share the video around, and subscribe to the channel, because it tells me you like my content and want me to keep making it. It also helps the channel grow. Until next time, later.